Hello, everyone. Welcome to our game of Primetime Adventures with the Gauntlet. This is episode 5 and the finale of our short season where we're following the exploits of our French resistance cell in 1944. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him, and I guess we'll go around the table and find out about our other players and their characters. We can do a quick previously on from last week. So Pearl, how about you first?
Hello, I'm Pearl. I use she and her pronouns. I apologize in advance for quietly snacking. It's been a very long day, but I'm very excited to be here, coming from Berlin. I had Sophie. That's who I am. Sophie Garnier is my character in this show. I'm very excited. You all should be very excited. It's the series finale of our wonderful program, Primetime Adventures Resistance, which has been one of the most dramatic shows I have been on in a long time. And Sophie Garnier started out as a very idealistic, reckless young woman, and after seeing the horrors of war, has not had her convictions challenged, but has had her idealism challenged a little bit. They're seeing how she comes to terms with the realities of trying to be a hero versus what she always imagined it would be. Previously on Primetime Adventures Resistance, the best show on television, we saw Sophie in the aftermath of having taken a mission beyond what was originally called for and killing a really, really large amount of people, having maybe some serious emotional ramifications of that, and seeing how that played out in her interactions with other people, and wanting to figure out how to pursue what we need to do without breaking everyone she cares about, as she has felt broken. I think that was most of what happened with her, but someone should remind me if I'm missing anything. It was a very emotional time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where it was for Sophie as well. David.
Hi, yeah, I'm David. I go by he, him pronouns, and I am playing Etienne Martin, a young Frenchman, about 17 or so, one of the younger members of the resistance, a card-carrying member of the Communist Party, and has for a while been living in the sort of shadow of his older brother, who went off to fight in the Spanish Civil War but never came back. He finally last time got his sort of opportunity to prove himself as a resistance fighter, leading an assault against a German train carrying a new officer into town. Unfortunately, it did not go as well as planned, and the cell was not able to complete its assigned task. Etienne was shot, though albeit not fatally, and managed to get out of there alive. But in general, has been a bit disheartened by the failure of his sort of first chance to prove himself.
Hello, I'm Pavel. I use he/him pronoun, and I play Pierre Bernard, who also uses he/him pronoun. Pierre is a retired combat engineer from First World War, who works in a local hospital as a doctor. And last time we have seen him bravely lead the escape from the failed mission in a stolen armored car, and also him doing some combat medics and trying to save Remy Durant's life after he was shot. Yeah, and we also learned last time that Pierre is now a bit paranoid about being found out and someone saying that he was also involved in the hospital shootout. And he's quite paranoid about it because he doesn't want others he's afraid of being arrested and like giving up others. So he's dealing with this issue.
Okay, great. Yeah, it was definitely an actiony episode last week. So this week, I think when we kind of open our episode, we see, probably a date in, some really archaic typewriter script that we were using for our headlines. Open up, 5th of June, 1944, and we see a bunch of gliders and other aircraft take off from England and start dropping paratroopers all over the French countryside. And I think interspersed with that, just outside Calais, we see heavy concentrations of German forces ready to throw back the invasion, which of course they think is aimed at Calais and not Normandy. Somewhat like our French resistance cell, who are, as far as we know, all under the same mistaken impression. So, who do we want to open up with this week?
I'm going to vote for someone else unless you want to hard frame something, because I feel like I need context to wrap my mind around to frame a scene in. And I know you just gave us context, but I need more context.
Okay, sure. Is it worth seeing some of the aftermath of last week's episode? Maybe some time has passed to allow everyone to be back on their feet a little bit at least. David, do we want to see Etienne kind of getting out of the hospital bed or something like this?
Sorry, hit the or missed the mute button rather. Yeah, no, that sounds good. I can do a scene with Etienne, kind of, sort of recuperating, as it were. I'm just thinking who would be good to have in the scene.
Is this a scene in your kind of makeshift field hospital, or is this something more like a mission briefing where he's kind of back on his feet?
I'm wondering maybe if we maybe something like actually in sort of the sort of infirmary, possibly.
What about Remy?
Yeah, I was actually wondering if maybe if it's not like below him, maybe bringing back the general. I forget his name.
Dubois.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So a personal scene?
Yeah, I think a personal scene here.
Yeah.
I think this is more about kind of Etienne's willingness to, or not necessarily willingness, but morale for the ongoing fight.
So I think Dubois is usually like a pretty well appointed man, a little bit heavy set, old with a beard, and I think maybe the last week of preparation has worn down on him a bit. He's probably surviving on a couple of hours sleep every night, but he comes to visit you. Maybe he has. I think actually he has done something like brought you your rations for the day. Some a bread roll, a baguette, and maybe some cheese or something like that. Something that's pretty Spartan fare. He sits down next to you. Etienne, how are you feeling?
I think the wound is mostly healed now. I'm I'm probably fine to go back into service again, sir.
Well, I hope your confidence is okay after your mission. It's not unusual.
I apologize for my failure, sir. I know you entrusted me with an important task, and I was unable to complete it.
Well, I think the great Marshal of France, Turenne, said it best when he said, "A general who's not tasted defeat hasn't been at it long." So we've all failed in missions, son. So don't worry about it. This time it'll be different.
Yes, sir, but I have not succeeded either. So,
well, I think we, or you, I should say, sent home a few Germans. More of them than us. Seems very old school of me, but that's the best way of explaining my thought process. We didn't get this Major Becker, but we bloodied his nose. We're gonna have a new mission very shortly. This is the big one. So
I feel like that might be a good moment for suddenly a voice from behind the general to say, "Well, General, maybe you give this brave soldier a day or two to rest and recuperate before sending him back." And maybe they like camera pans, and we see Pierre in his like white overalls of a doctor and with like a list, and he comes up, and he obviously came to check up on Etienne.
Well, that would be lovely if I had a day or two, but I don't. We don't. The resistance must act tonight.
Well, lucky for us, this one seems to be healing up fast, and I think I can like I can release him from the hospital today. So yes, I think you're all fine, Etienne. If you're feeling like being fine.
So is this the out, right, for he can claim to be a bit sick or whatever, not up to it? Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, this sounds like the good cue to go to the cards.
Okay, then before we go to the cards, I think we see Pierre just like puts a package on your like bed table, and he like unpacks it, and we see that there's like there wasn't like this like coffee mug like we have now, but there was like a metal box for like coffee or something, and it'd be like a fresh roll wrapped in paper. And Pierre says, "Mari wouldn't let me go out without bringing you some fresh coffee and some fresh bread."
Awesome.
Cool.
I'm on screen presence of 2 for this session, and I think this is definitely I'm definitely going to call in my plucky young revolutionary on this. I don't think I've only got the one fan mail at the minute, and I don't think I'll spend that on this. I think I'll see how it goes.
Do we think Remy is in the field hospital? I'm presuming.
Oh, he probably is, but I don't think I'm particularly. I don't feel like I've kind of introduced him to the scene, so no, I think I'll just leave it as I am.
Okay, Sorry, let me put the link to Roll for Your Party in the chat. Okay. So let me spend my... Yeah, I'm just going to spend one budget for this to give me 2 cards.
Cool. So yeah, I'm on 3, so I'll... Oh, wait, that's... Oh no, there's... Okay. It seems to be...
Is it misbehaving again?
I'll try that again. We might need to Yeah, no, it's not. It's saying there's 52 cards left, but yeah, it's not.
Let me try to shuffle every...
Cool. Yeah, that seemed to work on my screen, so I'll do mine now.
So I've got my 2 cards out already. 10 high and 1 red card.
1 red and queen high.
Okay. So in a personal scene, that is no but, which means you give into your impulse, but there is a silver lining.
Yeah, so I think what I'm going to go with on that then is to essentially go. I don't think that Etienne sort of overcomes his hopelessness, but he's still like willing to put himself forward. He doesn't. So I think he's sort of. It says, General, I'm not convinced that I don't know that we can win this, but I'm not going to let it stop me. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get this job done. And I'm ready for whatever you need me for. I'm not doing any good here.
I understand. Don't worry. I mean, I don't think we're going to be sending you in at the front of a wedge or anything like that in your wounded state. But the mission commander, I'm sure, will find a use for you. I think we. Sorry, do you want to say something first?
No, that's cool.
Okay. I think we kind of see or realize that Dubois has seen this in a lot of men over the years. Maybe not in the resistance, but in the war, of people who are a little bit gun shy or a little bit full of self-doubt after a failed mission, and he is maybe giving you the chance to come good. He's not going to ground you, as it were, over this, but he's giving you a chance to do something in action at least.
Cool.
Okay. Okay, cool. Pavel, did you want to take the next scene, or?
Yeah, I'm just thinking in case of if the plot scene, what could I hope to accomplish in this setup?
I've an idea, but that's up to you. Is this the moment where we discover that currently Pierre is wearing two hats, as a medic and as the mission commander. Maybe his stint in kind of saving everyone in the last mission has led to him getting a field promotion.
Oh wow, haven't really thought of that, but that's an interesting turn of events. That one, oh wow. Yeah, why not? I think, although I wanted there to be more people than just, I think it's like okay. Yes, let's go with it. I think we will have a meeting. Pearl, are you available, or are you just off the camera? AFK, something weird. Okay. So I think Sophie can come in. So can come in on this meeting. I'm thinking about the meeting of what I would then call a leadership. So probably Jean Artaud, Lydia Boyford, and General Dubois, and Pierre. And what I think Pierre is trying to push the others to tell us the truth. Is this the? So I think that they're talking about how to handle multiple operations at once, and Pierre just wants to push General and Lydia Boyford to just spill the beans and say, is this big operation? Should we prepare, hide our families and everything? Or is this some other fake stuff? And I think he wants to press on the others to just spill the beans that yes, this is this big operation coming out tonight or in 2 days.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I guess we make it a plot mission, right? A plot scene. Sorry.
Yeah. That would be a plot. And for some weird reason, that big conference room is busy, so we are having this secretive meeting of leadership in Sophie's making false paper room, because that was
maybe the usual meeting room is actually the field hospital, right? That's where you have all.
Probably yes. Yeah. There were lots of wounded after last operation.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think there's maybe the general mission in terms of the objective has been presented already by Dubois, and basically this is the destruction of several key road and railway bridges on the outskirts of Calais. So we understand if these are taken down, then German forces won't be able to intervene for the invasion. So it makes a lot of sense militarily, at least.
And Pierre is there listening, nodding, and maybe we see that. I wonder, how would we know that he has been promoted to a mission commander?
Well, it is the kind of cut there. Dubois saying something like, "Well, as this involves a lot of explosive work, we have chosen Pierre to lead the mission and to make the best case."
Thank you, General Dubois. I'm grateful for this opportunity. However, I have to know, last time we blew up something, bombers came and bombed almost our town, and the hospital was almost razed to the ground. I feel like I would like to know, is this the operation we are preparing for? Should we put our families and tell them to hide in the basements? Is this the thing that will that we're starting, or is it another false strike for whatever reason? Like last time you didn't tell us, and I feel like people deserve to know. Like the resistance fighters are not only they have their own lives on the stake. We should at least give them opportunity to protect the lives of their loved ones.
Every mission that we've undertaken in these last long years has been the real thing, Pierre. Just because they haven't won the war doesn't make them nothing. This war isn't going to end until we're in Berlin.
I think just like Pierre just like takes a deep breath, looks at Lydia and says, last time you sent me and Etienne to blow something up, bombers came, bombs fall, like literally nothing was accomplished. Like maybe, I don't know, a ship or two in the harbor was hit. But have you seen the civilian losses? The buildings from the like bombs that fell, of course. We need, I understand that there are some problems can occur, but we need to know if this operation, and this operation starts tomorrow, and we should like tell our families to hide in the basement or not.
You shouldn't tell anyone to hide anywhere, because that will tip our hand that this is suddenly more important than anything else.
This isn't only about achieving military objectives. There are civilians' life at stake.
And when air raid sirens go off, operated by the Germans and the civil defense, people will take the usual precautions. We cannot give any forewarning to our family.
Yeah, I feel like this should I feel like we should go to the cards, but but it was already like the result was already set, so I'm not sure.
I guess but you can still argue your case, right? There's still other people in the room that you can, get some extra information out of, and then choose how you want to act, right? If you wanted to. And I guess there's the point here is they're kind of implying that it is more important than usual, but that you still can't take any other kind of action that would tip your hand. So it's kind of a fine line they're trying to walk, and maybe you can get them to come onto your side of the argument, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, but I already gave up all of my arguments, and now I'm running on empty. So, yes. So I'm going to say that I think we see Pierre leaves the room and closes the door maybe like a few notches too hard, and now we draw the cards because maybe Lydia will just come and talk to him in the kitchen and tell him something.
Yeah,
something secretly.
Okay. So let me clear those.
So I am taking a card for Lydia, and yeah, that's it.
Okay. I guess I will spend. I'll spend one budget on this one as well.
Okay, so you already drew the cards, yes?
No, I did. Do you want to go first?
I was wondering if I can clear those two cards.
Oh, yeah, I thought I'd cleared it already, but you can clear anything that's there.
Okay, I'm going to clear. Cards, free. Yeah, probably not winning this one.
Okay, but you might get the high card, right? Ouch. Okay, so 2 red versus your none, and you're definitely getting the high card. My highest is a 5. So, on a plot scene, that is no but. Or, yeah. We just say you don't get what you want, but you keep it together. So, yeah, I think.
So I think Pierre leaves the room and goes to the kitchen to make some coffee, and he's like clearly waiting, just like with his probably eyes on the corridor where they will be coming off from the meeting, and he clearly is waiting for someone to come in and like whisper him some information, but
I think after a couple of minutes, and it seems obvious that you're sitting down and making yourself a cup of coffee. There's like a discussion back in the briefing room, and then like someone comes up and says, "Everyone's waiting for you to complete your briefing, Pierre. I'm not sure what you think you're doing. You've got to put your plan together."
yeah, and it's like very weird because Pierre is there with like his cup of coffee and another one waiting for someone to come and talk to him, and he just like takes his cup. Clearly, he's like, well, it didn't work, so he goes in back to the room to finish the discussion.
And I think maybe as you come back in, Lydia is kind of rolling her eyes a little bit, and Dubois and Artaud kind of exchange a glance. Maybe they're not sure about you after all. But I think, given that you keep it together, you're not maybe taking umbrage at this, and you like jump into your plan straight away without too much hesitation. Does that make sense?
Yes, of course.
Okay, cool. Okay, Pearl, are you back with us? Are you still away from your keyboard? Okay, we take a quick break, 5 minutes, or say come back at 5 past the hour. Yeah. Okay, cool. See you then.
I just had the brilliant idea for a scene that is only slightly breaking the rules of the game, but by having two people engage with cards at once. But maybe you will get to do it. I'm just like wondering about it.
Well, I'm sure Matt Wilson is not going to arrive at our doorstep to harass us for playing his game incorrectly. We paid our money. We're going to play it however we like.
Yeah, well, in general, it doesn't work so well with two people drawing cards. But I think if the goal of the scene is like clear that it is like, I don't know, a character conflict for everyone, and there's like a room for failure for everyone, I think it might work. So we will see. I will pitch you the idea when it's my turn.
Sure. Pearl will be back in 1 minute. I just sent her a quick summary of the scene she missed.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, good, it worked. I sincerely apologize. That was a very unexpected turn of events, but I have resolved it. Sincere apologies to everyone. It was a bit unavoidable for a moment, but I think I've been caught up with what Donna wrote on Slack, so
Okay, so
once more into the fray.
Yeah. Do you have an idea for a scene? Or do you want some hard framing, or what do you feel?
Maybe some hard framing, because I have sort of the summaries of what just happened, but like not all of the actualities, and I just want to make sure tonally there isn't too much of a shift or anything.
So until now, we've really been talking about the mission preparation. So we could have, a scene where you are like getting out of Calais, where you're usually kind of restricted, and getting outside the city to where the kind of target bridges are. Or it could be, I know, given that you're getting outside, it could be an idea to have something more intelligence based, where you and Jean Artaud are working together to get everyone the correct passes to get outside for this mission.
So my initial thought is just, from what I understand of what was happening with Pierre, trying to get the lowdown on whether this was the real thing and not really getting that information. Would Pierre have talked to me about that? Because if I'm going to be doing intelligence work, it would make a difference whether I have faith that this mission is real or not as well.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean that can be a scene, right? Or we can
that
just
actually
say,
I think that would be a good scene to have, since I do work with Jean Artaud, is maybe.
Yeah, so this could be like a trio scene where you're talking about the intelligence and the routes that you're going to be taking based on Pierre's plan.
Okay. What are let me get back. I just had the shoot up. Pierre's current paranoid and closed off. Okay. So maybe, I guess I'm the one who would be doing the card drawing, right?
Yeah.
Reckless and guilty. So what if we have a scene where sort of we're going over this and I can sense, because I think it would probably be obvious, that Pierre is paranoid, and I sort of try to draw that out, and then the cards could be, the conflict could be like, if he's convincing am I reckless enough to like demand answers from Jean Artaud or someone else, given that Etienne, Pierre, and I have all been through so much that if we're being put up to something that isn't even real, I think that Sophie would feel a lot of rage that we would be misled. So I think that could be interesting, sort of seeing whether Pierre's paranoia could sort of set off Sophie's guilt and anger stuff. How does that sound, Pablo?
Sure, awesome. Not sure I can pull it off, but I will do my best.
So I guess the briefing took place down in the basement. So maybe after the briefing, Pierre is still there, and that's an opportunity for Sophie to corner him. And let me know
maybe
if you want Jean Artaud to be in here or not, or if you want him to come in.
Not yet, certainly.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
What I would say is, like, let's see what happens with the cards, and if it goes badly for me, I find Jean Artaud, which I probably should not do. It's my guess. That would be like the reckless thing would be to confront the intelligence officer myself. So I don't know, or not. We can see how the scene goes, but I don't think at the beginning.
Okay, but if you preset that he's going to be in the scene at some stage, you get an extra card, right? Because he's one of your connections.
Oh,
yeah. So
yeah, let's say I'm gonna talk to him about things or have the beginning of a conversation if it's mild at the end of this scene, but how that conversation is going to go will probably depend on how the conversation with Pierre goes first.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could also frame it that maybe you're working with Jean Artaud on something, and Pierre just like pulls you out for a coffee and then like tries to agitate you, and then you go back to Jean Artaud to finish the work with him.
Yeah, we can do that. That works for me.
Here's a coffee I prepared earlier.
Okay, so you want to start out as just talking with Jean Artaud? Do you want to start that out, Donna, as Jean?
Yeah, so I think his general idea is that it makes the most sense, given that it's a large group, to move everyone, because there's so little time, to move everyone in one group instead of infiltrating individually, which he might usually prefer. And he has an idea that this can be like a work party, helping shore up defenses after a recent bombing raid in the countryside. So like near some defensive structures or some anti-aircraft battery or something like that. So everyone in who's involved in the cell would be like just a worker getting drafted in by the Germans to do some spade work. Does that make sense?
It seems suspicious to me already, and I haven't even talked to Pierre, but yes.
Okay.
Okay. Doesn't it seem a bit risky to... I mean, if something goes wrong, that's all of us.
Which is why I prefer individual infiltrations. But in this case, it'll be easier for you and easier for us to do it in one go. Because our time is tight, you realize.
I mean, I don't... Oh, go ahead.
I feel like at this point, Pierre just like knocks and walks in and is like surprised to see Jean Artaud there, and he says, and Pierre says, Sophie, I wanted to talk to you for a moment. If you can find some time, I'll be in the kitchen, and the coffee is already getting cold.
Okay. I assume you're going to wander out to the kitchen then?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll look back to Jean. I've been telling Pierre we should chat for a while, and we've been, we had that mission together and things got kind of hairy, and I feel like this conversation could take a while, and maybe can I take 5 to talk to Pierre? I just especially with this new mission coming up, I feel like it's really important for us all to try to stay connected and keep morale high. And I just
Well, Pierre's the mission leader, so it makes
all the
sense.
better, I guess. Yeah. But I'll come back in a few, obviously. Like, I don't mean to take too much of your time. I just
It's too
I
much of
also
our.
could really use a cup of coffee.
It's too much
Not
of
gonna
our
lie.
time, Sophie. You know, it's things are moving, so
I know, but you know, us all being connected, and I mean, especially if he's leading the operation, and me being alert would probably be good. I haven't been sleeping so well since the hospital, so yeah, the coffee could probably give me a bit of a mental edge that I could use. I'll make it quick though.
sure.
Is it okay?
Yeah, I'm not saying
Thank you.
no.
Okay. All right. I'll see you in a minute, Sean. So I'll go out to the kitchen.
Yeah. After Chekhov's gun from earlier scene, Pierre hands you like a cup of coffee that is slightly cold. Like if this coffee was like 20 or 30 minutes old, and he just like after you come, Pierre just like looks behind you that nobody's like listening, checks left and right, and go back to you, sits close, and he says, "This is like madness. Do you remember that the last bombing run we had?
Yeah. How could I forget?
I tried to push Jean, Andre, and Lydia to tell me whether this is the starting for the operation, or was it or will it be just given another bombing run? They wouldn't spill a bean. I feel like, don't they trust us?
Like either direction? They didn't say like they just were weird about it, or what? I mean, what did they say?
They didn't say anything. Like they stonewalled me and tell me that it is my duty to do what I'm told, and just like wouldn't spill a bean. And
you know, the Nazis do what they're told, just following orders and all that. That's not. We're doing things for moral imperatives, but can you like, it's cold, but I just need to take a minute to drink some of this coffee. I like, between you and John, honestly, I feel like I can't even think today. Like, we're all gonna go to the same location and be like, this operation feels abnormal to me, and this like huge time crunch, and now you don't think it's an actual thing?
I'm just like, I'm afraid that we will do this like massive, dangerous operation. People will die. We'll draw attention to ourselves. Another bombing run comes, levels the town to the ground, and they wouldn't tell us a thing. Like, I want my family to be safe. I want our families, yours, Etienne, to be safe. Like, if something big is going to go down, we need to know. I need to like tell them to, I don't know, gather supplies, hide in the basement, whatever. They wouldn't like tell me anything, and it's driving me crazy. Like,
it's like you think they're getting us out of the way so that they can do a bombing? Like, that's why they want all of the cell in the same place outside of towns, to get us out of the way for a bombing run?
That's the thing.
And they would not tell us with all of our families here?
Like they didn't tell me anything. I'm losing my mind. Like, Mari is working all day at the restaurant. If one bomb goes, of course, that's it. Like,
why would they do that? Why wouldn't they tell us to protect our, like, why would they let a bomb run?
I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining
understand.
things. I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining things. This is like madness. I need to go.
I have to say,
go.
It's very abnormal, this way of operating. It's not John's usual. I mean, even he said that usually he prefers individual infiltration. I have a bad feeling. I'm really worried.
I think we will see like Pierre maybe like for the first time. He takes like a already he takes like a pack of cigarettes that is already half empty. Like puts one of his like shaking hands in his mouth, and it's like the cigarette has clearly been like used and like crushed and everything. And he like, I need to go out and smoke, maybe like calm my nerves. Like if you could like learn anything from Jean, let me know. I'll be outside smoking. And I just like go outside to smoke.
So
I think here's where I should draw cards.
Yeah, so if this is a personal scene as we predicted, then this I think is the moment of truth, right? For Sophie.
Yeah. I just need to. What's the
Oh,
roll for your part? Did we change it or did we?
No,
keep
it's the same as usual. Yeah.
Okay. And that was properly careful barnacle.
Barnacle, yeah.
Or is okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Just taking a second to load. So let's see. I get 1 card for Jean Artaud.
Yeah.
Right.
And 2 for your screen presence.
2 for my screen presence.
3 for your screen.
3
presence.
for my
Sorry.
screen presence.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that at least one of the charismatic and convincing or the tradecraft should come into this, because I'm going to be trying to get information, and it's a question of whether I'm going to be good at it or bad at it.
So I think at this point in time, right, if it's about Sophie, then it's not like, okay, you get to go back to Jean Artaud and with what you have, but I think tradecraft, like working out how his mind is working and how the paranoia is maybe affecting Pierre, is more kind of pertinent. I don't know. What do you feel?
That's why I said one or the other or both, because I couldn't really parse out like. So I was willing to let you just make that call because I.
Okay, I think it's tradecraft right now, and Jean Artaud, obviously, yeah. So it's 6, right? Or
so
5.
6.
5. Unless you're spending fan mail.
So 3 for screen presence, 1 for Jean Artaud, 1 for tradecraft.
I will be spending.
What budget are you spending on this?
Yeah, I'm going to be spending 2 budgets.
Okay, I don't think I need to spend fan mail on this because I'm willing for it to go a bit awry if it needs to. So, do you want to go first or shall I?
You can go first.
Okay. So it's the one to the left of the thing.
No, right of cards.
Oh, I lied. Okay. 5. Submit.
Nice. So even I
haven't
get
all
more
loaded
red
for
cards
me,
than that.
So.
Oh, sorry.
Are
so you got.
Are they all red? They haven't all
4
loaded for me.
Yeah,
so
4 out of the 5 cards are red. Though I got 2 reds and I got ace high. So it is a yes plus for you.
Split result.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you resist your impulse, but there are consequences, right? If it's a character scene.
This always goes whenever I have the mixed set, it's always the ones that are harder to play. Like it'd be so much easier to not resist my impulse, but like get away with it somehow. But like be good and have a consequence. How does that work? Anyway, okay. So that means I'm gonna play cool with Jean Artaud when I go in.
Yeah.
All right. Cool it is. So I'm gonna walk back in with a cup of coffee. It presumably has only been a pretty short amount of time. It was a short conversation, and I would go straight back in probably to avoid any obnoxiousness. Really sorry, but thank you. This coffee is life-saving, I think. I can barely keep my eyes open sometimes. So you were saying about the mission, it is really out of your usual sort of way of advising. I know you know what you're talking about. I'm after everything that's happened recently, obviously with me, but I've been worried about Etienne, and I think, really both Pierre and I have been having a bit of a rough go emotionally since the hospital, and just for my own processing so that I can approach this mission with like all the focus that's needed. If you could like help me understand why this change of tactics is useful. I feel like
if I
you know
tell
what I
you
mean?
anything, you have to promise me that you will not tell Pierre.
But he's the mission leader, isn't he?
And he doesn't need to know what you're asking.
Sorry, out of character moment of like flusteredness. Okay.
Well, I think if
no, it's a good consequence.
Yeah.
I just did not see it coming. Sorry, I had a bad role playing moment there of not knowing what to say.
Yeah, I mean, if Sophie is lying to Pierre, and Pierre is being paranoid, then that can't possibly come back to bite anyone, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Or if Sophie doesn't actually lie to Pierre, even though she says she will, that could probably
either
come
way,
back to bite her too, I imagine. Oh, poor Sophie Garnier. She means so well, and all the bad things happen to her. Okay, back into being a person who role plays. Yeah, I mean, I am asking because I want the mission to go well, and feel this is the best way for me to do so. And if you say that there's some reason Pierre shouldn't know, then I imagine there's a reason Pierre shouldn't know. Just like I imagine there's a reason we're doing this.
Okay. Pierre shouldn't know because he will warn people outside the cell if he thinks it is the real deal.
He would think that because it is the real deal?
Oh, well.
I mean, if it isn't, I can just tell him it isn't. And then that would solve that, right? So
I'm not interested in lying to my people, Sophie. I'm interested in having our mission go ahead and kicking the Germans out of our country. Okay. And
well, you know that I'm dedicated to the cause. I mean, I'm still here after everything, but
anything that imperils our mission could work against that. At the moment, I just think Pierre is a little bit of a loose cannon where telling his wife what's going on is concerned. Or telling his family, or telling anyone who should.
Well, he thinks she's in danger. I mean, I imagine.
We are all in danger every minute of the day. My name was on that list. I've been living, here for the last week. If I go out and drink coffee in my usual place or go home, I will be dead in a ditch by the morning.
I mean, I've been living here in the safe house since the hospital, so I get it. We are all in danger, but.
And if we tell someone with the best of intentions what's going to happen, and the Germans find out, then we're screwed.
You don't think Pierre would tell the Germans?
No, Pierre will tell his wife, and his wife will do something unusual, and then the Germans will put two and two together and know something is happening. I'm not accusing anyone of telling the Germans. The Germans are pretty good at figuring things out all by themselves.
Yeah, I was just talking to Etienne about that recently, about if they were easy to beat, we would have beaten them by now. Are our families in danger, Sean?
If there's a bombing attack, the air raid sirens will go off and everyone will do what they do. that's as much as I can say.
Okay. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to me about it. There's been a lot of upheaval around here lately, even for us. So I appreciate you taking the time. No, before we start to carry this out.
No, I mean, I think the break is good. I know it's unusual and risky, and I hate that we have to do it this way, but I think it's the best way.
Okay. And I'm going to sort of down the rest of the coffee in one go. I should get back to working on the documents then. If the whole cell is going to need paperwork, it doesn't seem like I'm going to get much sleep between now and when we head out.
At least you're going to be using a template, right? That's everyone is doing pretty much the same.
Yeah, just sort of stamp, cut, laminate, repeat. Maybe 20 more cups of coffee along the way, and we're a go.
Cool.
You'll let me know if you need anything.
I will.
Okay. I better get to work, so I sure I'll see you before, well, everything.
Okay. So I guess that's our end of Act 1. We'll pretend we'll take a 5-minute ad break and jump into Act 2. I guess we'll take our next break at the end of Act 2, right? That sounds okay to people. So yeah, who wants the next scene?
I have this idea that I want to pitch to everyone. So I don't think we rarely see all our three characters in a scene. And,
I was just about to suggest that too.
And the idea is that all three of us are like at one bridge, like trying to bomb it. There are some German patrols or something like that, and mostly I envision this that while Pierre is like in danger, like mounting the explosive charges, climbing on the bridge, under the bridge, and so on. The two of you have like need to like distract the German or maybe shoot the Germans, whatever you find fancy. And the idea would be like that your impulses would be like tested, like probably like Pierre put Etienne in charge of some group of men that are supposed to do something like distract the Germans by like, I don't know, moving out of cars or getting cars off from the bridge, and we'll see whether he can keep his helplessness down. And Sophie, well, the Germans on the way, so will you attack them with the machine gun or some other way? I don't know.
My impulse is not recklessly attack everyone with machine guns, for the record. It's just me in general.
But you're angry on them.
Find another. Yeah. But no, I would. We'll see. What? I hit the wrong button. Oh no. We'll see. I guess where that goes based on.
So, like, how do we feel? Do we feel like doing few separate scenes, each with one conflict, or doing like one with two conflicts and then somehow resolving them at once with one card draw?
Can I throw something into the mix?
Sure,
just so I was thinking of a 3-character scene in which I now am not convinced that there are not going to be bombings. I've been told not to tell you, but I had to have a consequence, which is probably that I tell you. But also, if any of Etienne's family is here, and I don't know if Remy's well enough to go in for this mission or might be left in town, but that you two are like my closest friends, and that I imagine I would tell you two about what I'm thinking. And I think a conversation with all three of us rather than just me and Pierre would be more in character for Sophie at this point. Like, she is just tired of seeing everyone get hurt. And if that scene were to happen, or even if we were to say that scene had happened and didn't play it out, would it be before or after the scene you're talking about? Because I think it would change how we were feeling. If we were feeling like the resistance was about to put our families in grave danger, for example, you know, like that would influence attitudes and things. But if nobody else thinks that's interesting, we can just not do it. I just wanted to put it out there as a possible interaction that could take place or have taken place.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe both scenes just like in a row or something like that. But I think, you know, for our series finale, it's like starting to bring us together as a cast. Makes a lot of sense. So
sure. So do you want to play the scene, the one that you spoke, or not?
yeah, we can play the one I spoke, and we can keep it short, I think. The question is it my scene and I draw cards? Because I feel like this is sort of my consequence from an earlier card draw. So is it like the finishing out of that draw, or is it a test for one of you two?
I feel like it will definitely be test for Pierre's paranoia, that he might just like abandon the mission altogether and just like go to the restaurant.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I feel like it's I feel like for Etienne, it wouldn't really test him that much. It sort of feeds into the whole hopelessness thing, but like his family has very much been a kind of background thing. So I feel like in plot terms, that's not as relevant.
Okay. So somewhere where the three of us would be alone and not overheard, but probably still in the safe house since I've been hiding there. So maybe we could do it in my office since that's where I do most of my things. Under the auspices of like me working on your documentation and wanting to clear some details. Like maybe I even would have called in another person or two earlier in the day to have a similar fake meeting just to like make it seem legit. But I've asked you two to come together at a really unbusy time. So, hey, Pierre, Etienne. Thanks for coming.
Yes.
That's okay, Sophie. Yeah.
We see Pierre just like looks around on the outside and then just like closes the door quietly.
Pierre, I love you, but you got to work on not acting like a villain out of a melodrama when you're worried about things. Like tradecraft is my thing, and the constant like this thing, it's not making you look less suspicious.
I think Etienne is actually going to chuckle at that.
I just don't want Jean to listen on our conversation.
No, I know. I don't. I'm sorry. I'm punchy. I could probably use like 50 more cups of that blue. The mission is coming up.
No, not in specifics yet. We'll briefing, and he'll look over at Pierre as in the sort of like
the briefing is in like 1 hour, and they told me to like call the briefing late to be just before the action.
Yeah. Okay. Before I go into what I'm about to say, Pierre, can you just tell Etienne what we were talking about the other day? I brought the two of you here because you are people that the three of us have been through enough lately that I feel we owe it to each other to be honest and to look out for each other. And I want to have a discussion with the two of you, but we need to all be on the same page first. So if you could frame this, I can kind of follow up.
Yeah, of course. So there's like there's like a huge operation. We're going outside of the city, and almost all of us from the resistance. We're going to blow up some bridges, some barracks, the tank park, and and it's all happening tonight, in like 4 hours at night. And I was trying to press the command to tell me whether this is the operation before the operation, if you know what I mean. And they just like stonewall me and didn't tell me a thing. And I was, I'm just like, I'm not getting worried because you remember last time we blew up something in the port, unsuspectingly we got like bombed by bombers, and it was not nice. So I was trying to press the command to tell me, is it going just to be just like a draw? Are we just highlighting the targets for bombing runs, or is this like the beginning of the operation? And you didn't tell me anything.
So Etienne, Pierre, and I sort of had a conversation about this, and then I tried to follow up with Jean Artaud. And look, these missions and what we're trying to do here are so important. They're important enough that I'm still here, even though I want to crawl into a hole somewhere most days. I don't want to do anything that's going to imperil what we're fighting in good conscience. Be out there with my friends who are trying to fight for goodness and not say what I have to say first. So please keep this between the three of us, or at least tell me if you're not going to, so that I can, I don't know. I'm going directly against what I was told by talking to you, but you deserve to hear what I have to say. I spoke to Jean Artaud. He didn't confirm or deny anything in concrete terms, but the fact that he didn't confirm or deny anything in concrete terms, and he and I are usually pretty straightforward, and the things that were hinted, I think there are reasons to be concerned about people in town when the whole cell is not in the town. I want this mission to just be us going and like hitting them hard, and like that's what it is, But I feel like they don't need all of us to do it. They've never needed all of us to do anything, and Jean has not been able to give me a compelling reason why we are. I mean, it's one thing to take 10 people instead of 2, but the whole cell, I mean, he wasn't able to give me a straight answer, and he did say specifically not to tell anyone who might go telling other people. And he gave me a reason, and I feel like I should share that as well, which is that, as we know, the Germans have their ways of finding things out, and they're watching. And if people start acting differently than they usually do, the Germans might figure something out, and it could imperil us all. And I can't argue with him on that front. They certainly have gotten the best of all of us, at least once. But I don't think it's as straightforward as it's being presented, and I do think people might be in danger, people that aren't just us. And I'm not going to have been told that and then just smile and go out there for this mission with the two of you. And I really hope I'm wrong. But if I'm not, and something happened and I hadn't told you, how would I ever look either of you in the eye?
Yeah, I think Pierre, like, nervously spacing around the very little space of your office, probably almost like walking in circles. And it's like, I have to go tell Mari. No, I can't tell Mari. I have to warn her, but how can I do it? Like, yeah, I think I'm ready to draw the cards for Pierre.
Yeah, and I think Etienne is just going to say thanks, thanks Sophie for letting me know. You might be right, but honestly, it's been nearly 5 years now. None of us have been safe here, and
No.
I don't know.
I know.
I think we've just got to do the mission and see how it goes and hope for the best.
That's my plan too. But I felt like I could make that decision for me, but I couldn't make it for the two of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And, my neck's on the line because I doubt Sean, even in his non-forthcomingness, was as forthcoming with anyone else as he was with me. So, and he did specifically ask me not to tell anyone, and here I am, but I guess it's
okay.
just a different kind of danger.
I won't let him know what you've said. I mean, I don't think what you've said hurts anyway, but
so I don't think I can throw any edges into my draw, but I am going to spend a fan mail to behave like a professional resistance fighter. So I'm drawing 3 cards.
I'm so torn. I really want to send a bunch of fan mail also. But I'm torn as to what I actually want Pierre to do, because honestly, I really don't want Marie to get killed, if that's a possibility. Like, I want there to be a way to, like, just send her on an errand. Like, but ultimately, I feel like I should spend fan mail because I think Pierre does want to be a professional, and we're all putting our faith in each other. So I will send at least one.
For Pierre, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to spend 2 budget.
Okay, so you want me to draw first?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
So 4 cards, and last 2, 1 red, very low cards. Oh, I mean king high. Okay.
1 red and king high, right? Oh Jesus! Here we go.
Okay, but you get the high card.
Yes, you get a budget.
Yeah. So 3 red, but you get the high card. So yet again,
Give into your impulse, but there is a silver lining.
Oh, that's perfect. You go and tell her, but she doesn't let the Germans know. She just doesn't die.
Yeah, I think what is Pierre just like stops, turns to looks on Sophie and says, "Thank you, Sophie, for letting me know. There's something I need to do before the briefing." And
Okay.
yeah, and Pierre leaves very hastily, almost running, but not really running, to go back home and tell Mari to hide, leave town, everything.
So yeah, I think you catch her. It's getting late, right? But it's not quite dark yet. So there's still some customers in the cafe, and maybe there's a couple of German soldiers sitting at a table outside on the street, and she kisses you and looks very quizzically because she knows maybe that you're supposed to be on a mission right now.
Mm-hmm.
Pierre, what I didn't expect to see you so early tonight.
Yes, and Pierre just like looks around how to tell it to her without anyone being suspicious, and he just says, "Yes, I came in to help with the water. I forgot to tell you that they're going to cut the water tonight, and we have to like close in early because we'll be out of water. I just came in to help you to like close the business and send everyone off. And yeah."
Oh no, Pierre, we can do. And I think she like brings you into like the small kitchen that's behind the scenes because she knows that you can talk there without anyone overhearing you. But still, she just starts filling pots with water.
Yeah, and Pierre just like closes the water, shuts down the water tap, and he just like just like we have to close in the restaurant. You need to pack your essentials and go to your mother. I mean,
Pierre,
right now.
Pierre, the first thing that will happen if I close this cafe is I will lose my pride as a restaurateur. And the second thing is that the German officers outside will wonder what is going on with Mrs. Bernard. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring them a croissant on the house because it's the last time I'm going to take their money.
Yes, and there will be a water problem that we have to close in just.
And I will keep them out on the street for as long as I can.
You mean you want to stay?
I am staying.
Very well. At least I told you, and I'll be working all night. Just wanted you to know.
If a bomb falls on this restaurant, it's going to kill more Germans than French people tonight. And I think she turns back on the tap. And like, that is the end of the conversation.
Yeah, and Pierre just like leaves the kitchen, and it's really feeling empowered that his wife is so brave.
Okay, cool. So, next scene. I guess it'd be interesting to just see like a little snippet of what happens when Pierre returns to the safe house to lead everyone out on the mission. But we can do a quick like description of that and then cut to a new scene, maybe.
Yeah, except that I have no idea how Pierre feel about it. I think he would be. Yes, I think it's clear. I think when Pierre comes, he looks sad, but he also looks proud and like empowered to go and do his duty. And he actually maybe looks like cheerful, comes in, just like shakes someone's hand, pat someone's on the shoulder, and it's like looks like really like in the shoes of a mission commander.
Cool.
You see Sophie like giving a look from across the room trying to figure out what's happening, hoping he'll clue her in, since sort of her ass is on the line, really.
Yeah. I think in the brief moment we have a conversation, Pierre mentions that the restaurant will be open and serving croissants all night.
So if he just sort of puts a hand on his shoulder and squeezes, nods a little bit, tries to give him a look of compassion and thanks, and then goes along with everyone else.
That was a good
Donna,
scene.
if you kill Marie, I will
You will hunt
fly
me
through
down.
the screen. Yeah, I'm coming to the UK,
Well, that's a whole other country.
Yeah, but it's next door. It's next door. So
it is next door. That's that's good. That's good. Okay. So who wants to frame this next scene for us?
I think maybe Pablo, because he had the idea for the 3-person bridge scene. Only if you want to.
Yeah, of course. So the idea is that the 3 of us are at the bridge. It needs to be blown up, but I think there is some trouble, and maybe the trouble is that, I don't know, a civilian car just broke off. It's like staying broken like in the middle of the bridge, and Germans are like around the place, and and give everyone an assignment and then go to climb the bridge to plan the and that's sort of an idea for it's hard for me to frame a scenes involving your characters doing cards. I think it will be like character scenes to see whether your impulses get the best of you, but it can also be plot scenes.
I'm so bad at differentiating between the two, because like what happens to the characters is the plot in my mind. So I
guess plot is when your character wants something and your impulse can be triggered by act, but not about mainly triggering your impulse. And character scenes are mainly about trying not to trigger your to like calm down your impulses.
So I guess is the
kind of the same, but
the main thing at risk is the mission, or you yourselves, I guess, is the kind of way I would usually distinguish it. So do we want like the card draw to be about?
The problem is that those all still seem the same to me. But
okay.
Yeah. Right, because like every time one of us has a personal moment that fails, like 100 million people die. It's like so. Like, I don't know. It's like, or maybe that's just my character. But okay. I've got the conceptual distinction kind of. So do you want to give us those instructions, Pablo? And then we can sort of play off whatever you're telling us we should be doing?
Yeah. I'm just like trying to think what would be like really cool for your characters. So I envision that we are like maybe in a forest, just like before the bridge, and the 3 of us are like in one after another looking through binoculars over the situation at the bridge, and I think that there would be that there's like a broken civilian car and some civilians trying to fix it in the middle of the bridge, and Pierre turns to Etienne, because I think that Etienne and the other man are like kind of like a civilian dressed, or maybe like we are looking like your fake identities with like hammers, like looking like workers. And I say to Etienne, I like really need you to take lead of those soldiers and make sure that the bridge is clear and that no civilians are on the bridge. Can you do it?
Of course, Pierre. I can. I'll sort it out. Don't worry.
And I think Pierre just like takes the binoculars and looks through them at some like German patrol, and he looks at Sophie, and he says, "I don't know how you wanna like drop them away or finish them off, but this patrol will be a real trouble to me while I'm planting the demolition charges. They cannot spot me, otherwise they will, I don't know, shoot me or raise the alarm."
I mean, you're telling me I have to kill them, right? Like I haven't been out of the safe house since the hospital till now. I imagine my description has gone around. I don't think distracting them by using sloppy German flirting or something is going to work this time.
Pierre looks at Sophie and he says, "I'm telling you to do what must be done. If probably it's killing. They must be like, they cannot alarm anyone, and we have to like blow up this bridge, and I'll be like really exposed while I'm climbing the bridge structure."
All right, if that's the order.
Yeah, and I think like Pierre maybe like even like hands you like a big knife, and he says, "The quiet the better. There might be more patrols around."
I'm trained as like a spy. Do you expect me to take on a whole German patrol with a knife? Just realistically, do you think I'm not going to get killed after killing the first one of them with a knife?
I mean, so is the patrol 2 guys or 8 guys? And are you also
I guess that's important to
someone
know.
Else, right? Whatever seems most appropriate.
Yeah.
I think it would be like really cool if there are just like only 2 of them, so you have an option. You can like go all out with an empty enter clip, or go in with a knife.
It all comes down to the cards, right? When it comes down to it.
Yes, I think that's interesting choice, because you have like both ways are viable.
And the consequences, if you use the machine gun, is people here, and if you use the knife, could be, you get hurt. Who knows?
Someone could potentially shoot at Pierre, and I would have to decide what to do in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Not
see.
that we foreshadowed anything like that happening.
No.
But
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
all
Pierre,
right.
So Pierre just like tells you the stuff, and then we probably like see him like put on like a massive backpack with like dynamite and like cables, and he just like goes down the slope and like approaches the bridge and starts like climbing it to just like plant the charges.
Cool. Okay. So
look over at Etienne. Well, he gives us a lot of time to figure this out, eh?
As much time as is cinematically appropriate, So who wants to take their scene first in this?
I certainly have an idea, so I'm happy to.
Okay. So sorry, this was make sure that the civilians aren't still on the bridge when the bomb goes off. So I don't either convince them or fix their car or something like this. There's a variety of. Yeah. So why don't you kind of set the scene for us and how Etienne arrives?
Sure thing. So I think Etienne sort of leads. It's got a couple of other men with him. And they kind of move up, and kind of they're in the undergrowth right by kind of the sort of the embankment isn't the word I mean, but like where the bridge starts, essentially going over the river. And Etienne unslings like his Sten gun from over his shoulder and hands off to one of the other guys. And we see him like take the sort of pistol out of his holster, and he just like and again takes like the belt with the holster off and just slides the gun down the back of his trousers and sort of pulls his shirt over it. And he grabs like a sort of in the undergrowth, he grabs like a bunch of wildflowers and plucks them all and sort of fashions them into a crude bouquet. And he says to the others, right, I'm going to go and try and get those people off the bridge. I need you here watching me. If the Germans catch on or anything else happens, then, well, return fire, whatever you need to do. But I'm going to get those people off the bridge in the meantime.
Okay, yeah. So I think like the other pair of resistance fighters with you, kind of nod, and maybe our plucky young sniper Madeline from last week is here drawing a bead on you as you cross the bridge to be challenged by the Germans.
Etienne is going to start sort of walking out across the bridge, and he's sort of like whistling nonchalantly, and he's got this little, they've got a little bouquet of flowers in his hands. And I think as he comes across the bridge, he's going to wander over to the people with the car and say, "Hey, is something the matter here?"
So yeah, I think one of the French civilians who has his head stuck into the under the bonnet comes up and kind of shrugs like, "Oh, I don't know what's wrong with us." And maybe the German soldier behind him kind of mutters something about it being a terrible car. He should have bought a Volkswagen.
I can take a look under the hood for you. It's not I'm used to working with, but I'm sure I can at least see if something's going on. And he's going to just hold out the flowers to the guy and say, "Can you hang on to these for me?"
Yeah. So I think there's someone maybe sitting in the car. Maybe a younger person or someone who wouldn't be driving normally, but is just there to, put their foot on the accelerator or whatever to test the engine. And the guy takes the flowers and kind of looks like slightly awkward at just standing here in the middle of nowhere with these flowers from the strange guy. And like you said, it's not a naval engine, but it's probably simpler, right?
Yeah, and I think at that point, Etienne is going to start attempting to work at the engine and see if he can actually fix it.
Okay. So I think that is kind of the can you fix it and get these people off the bridge before the bomb goes is kind of the crux point here, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. So.
I'm at screen presence of 2, and again I'm going to call in the naval mechanic thing here to bring me up to 3, and I think I'll spend a fan mail as well to bring me up to 4.
Okay, I'm going to spend.
I'll donate a fan mail also because
thank you.
I think Etienne is he's grown so much he can do this.
I'm going to spend 3 budget, so I'll be drawing 4 cards.
Cool. So I'll gone to so that's only 2 reds with a 10 high.
Okay. Well, that is only 1 red, though with an ace high.
Yes, that's a yes, but, isn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's an awkward but, isn't it? You get what you want,
Yeah.
but your impulse is provoked.
So yeah, I think what it's I think what this looks like, because I feel like what happens here is that, like, I think we kind of see Etienne like fiddling with the engine, and I think he realizes like it's something that he can't fix. He's not going to be able to get this car moving, at least not in time. And I think we kind of see like him kind of glancing at his watch as he's like counting off the minutes, as he's like poking about in the engine. And I think he sort of leans back from the car and sort of like takes like a rag out of his pocket and wipes his forehead and says, "I'm sorry, this car looks like it's I'm not sure I can get it working. We might need to get it towed. Sorry about that." And he sort of stands up and kind of cricks out his back a little, and turns to the German and says, "Sorry about this, officer." And then turns back to sort of the guy and the other person in the car and says, "Run!" and pulls his pistol out and shoots the German soldier.
Okay.
So yeah, I think he gets the people off the bridge, but it's
it's definitely not by the book.
Exactly.
Okay, and how close are we? How close is that gunshot to the point in time where the bomb is scheduled to go?
It's probably like I'd say like about a minute or so, maybe.
Okay,
like probably enough time for them to get off the bridge, but not much more than that. I think that's what kind of provoked it. It's like yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's cut over to Sophie stalking this patrol, which is undoubtedly going to pass right underneath where Pierre is under the bridge in a couple of minutes.
Obviously. Yes. Sophie, bringer of death. So okay. Trying to picture sort of like what's in Sophie's immediate surroundings right after Pierre walks off. Is there like a machine gun nearby? I don't want to be holding one for reasons that will become apparent, but is there maybe one nearby that like someone else is holding that I could take if I wanted to?
I'm sure one of these German soldiers has a submachine gun and the other one has a rifle.
Oh, I'm sure they do. I just meant like, do we? Like, is there one? Do I have access to one?
Sorry, I thought anywhere would do. Yeah, so there's another. I mean, you could kill one, take the machine gun, and that'd be all John McClane, right? Ho ho ho. Very seasonal. But yeah, maybe another French resistance fighter with you has got a submachine gun.
Okay, so
will be in a position to pass it along to you or to use it if needs be.
So you see Sophie kind of looking at the knife that Pierre has handed her, and like her hand is shaking at the idea of like not only killing more people but doing so in such a gruesome fashion. But then she looks over at the submachine gun and actually has to put a hand out to steady herself. Like you see her start to go pale, like she's maybe going to pass out. And she realizes she can't hold one again. Like it's too much for her. And so even though the knife is given that it's this small number of people and not a chance of another massacre, like a more gruesome way to do things, she doesn't feel like she has a choice, because her brain will not let her go near another machine gun after what she's been through. So she sets her shoulders, looks around for a minute, thinking about whether she should try to get someone to come along and help. and then decides she doesn't want to put anyone else in danger. And that Pierre, like she trusts Pierre and he asked her to do it, and she's going to try to do what she can. And she starts walking towards sort of, I don't have an exact picture of like Pierre's over here, like the soldiers are going to walk under and then I'm somewhere, but walks in the direction of like being able to sneak up on them, essentially, whatever that would look like. Sure. And I want to call this a plot scene because I want it to be whether Sophie can, in the moment, remain collected enough to be efficient enough to like somehow dispatch both of them with a knife, or at least come as close to it as anyone could, or whether she freaks out and just like slashes at one of them, and then the consequences of that play out however they play out. But that is, I think, what would be the central conflict in my mind.
Yeah.
Does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds perfect to me.
Like I think she'll probably definitely stab one of them. It's just whether that is done efficiently and whether the other one gets hit. But so let's see. I guess tradecraft comes into play in terms of sneaking up on them.
Yeah.
And being and then spotlight of 3.
Yeah. And I am going
I'll give. Do I have a fan mail left to give myself? I've been giving it out a lot, but
yeah, you have a bunch, I think.
Oh, okay. So I'll give myself a fan mail too. So I'll have 5 to draw.
I'll toss in a fan mail on that as well.
Thank you.
And my butt is on the line, so I'm going to toss a fan mail as well.
Thank you. So that's 7.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be. I think okay. Although at the end of this scene we'll get a big boom. I don't think I'm gonna count that as our budget. I'm just gonna spend 4 because it's still our spotlight character big scene. So I'm gonna spend 4, and I'll give 5 total. Okay.
I feel like you're gonna win even if you only play 2 cards somehow. So it's like, I'm not. But I tried to clear the room and it didn't work just now. So
it looks clear for me, but maybe it was just a.
I think mine's just not keeping up very well.
Yeah,
I've
sometimes
got
that happens.
like the good data plan is on my phone, which is why I'm doing this on my phone. My iPad is trying to rely on the
roll for your party
hostile
is
internet.
Just a bit, funky that way.
I think I might try to just use my iPad's data plan briefly because this is obnoxious.
Or I can just draw them for you.
I know it's dorky, but let's see if having my data plan will work better. No. All right, maybe you're going to have to draw them for me because it's not working.
So you said 7, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe the room will think these are for the Nazis. And they'll say, hey, have all these red cards. Okay. Almost right. So you got 3 red, and the highest is an ace of diamonds. Is, not bad. And I'll draw my 5. And I also got 3 red, although the highest is a 7.
It's loading so slowly for me that if you can just repeat what just happened, because I can't really see.
Yeah, you got 3 red cards. The highest is an ace, and I got 3 red cards. The highest is a 7. So that is a no, but. So that is you do not get what you want, but you keep it together. Yeah.
So I keep it together and I just fail anyway. Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So resisting the urge to get like "Vive la résistance" or something like that as she comes up behind them. she sort of steels herself and
I think, sorry, can I put in one detail that maybe explains why you don't get what you want? Right as you're about to strike, a pistol shot rings out from the bridge right up above, and they turn and they see you. So that's why maybe it's not going to work out well for you.
All right. Too bad I was so sneaky right up until that gunshot.
It's totally not your fault, right? Totally not your fault.
So seeing that they've already seen me and figuring I'm pretty much doomed, I'm going to literally grab the front of one of them by the universe and slash his throat. Assuming they will kill me. The other one will kill me, but like if I can get rid of one of them, then Pierre has a better shot than if I don't. Because I don't have a gun at this point, right? I only have the knife, so that's the first thing I do. What happens? I'll tell you what the next thing I do is.
So you're not getting what you want, right? So this guy just calls out an alarm, and it's not just a single guy on the bridge. It's like a general attack that the rest of the Germans are being warned about. So they're all kind of at a heightened level. But you keep it together. I think what happens is the other German like is about to shoot you down, but you've slashed the throat of his buddy, and so maybe that body takes a bullet or two instead of you getting the full brunt of the attack. And then I think we probably cut to ad break, right? Okay. Okay, so I've got 22 minutes past. We come back at past for Act 3.
Donna, you are very much breaking it off for me.
Okay.
Oh, it's not just me. I assumed it was my stupid internet. Okay.
I can barely hear Donna at all.
Sorry. Okay. I'll try to reconnect, and we'll come back in 10 minutes or so. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So 10 minutes break. Okay. Such a cliffhanger.
You always like to make me killers. You make it all hard for me into killing scenes all the time.
You chose this anger.
I wanted to jump in front of a bullet. To save someone. But it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. If I have to slash a Nazi throat now and again, it happens.
Okay, one reset of my modem, and I'm hoping things are back.
Sounds pretty solid to me.
We'll see. Presumably next time I go in a huge description, it'll decide to stop cooperating with me. So when last we left our heroes, David is back. Things must be getting cold, are they?
Yeah, it's starting to cool down a bit.
Okay. So final act, final episode. No stakes, surely. So I think we got you back, Pearl.
Yes. Sorry,
Okay.
my camera's off for a second because I'm
Okay.
adjusting the
No
phone
problem.
I'm holding.
So I think do we come back exactly as we left it during the break, or do we cut to another character? I wonder. Do you have any preference?
Well, this is somehow the ending of Act 2, so we need to set how it ends.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of seems like if we want this part of the mission to be the main part and to be the kind of closing thing, then we continue kind of fictionally speaking. And if we don't, we just go with the bomb and then with the aftermath, with the bomb going off. And then
I think we should continue the scene. I mean, like we have three tantalizing things, right? There's Pierre trying to set up the bomb. There's me having stabbed at least one of them, and Nazi on the bridge. And those are all right before it goes off. But I feel like we should at least see the direct aftermath of, or what's going on in Pierre's case, of those three things right before the bomb goes off.
On the contrary, I wanted to suggest that we finish this main part of the mission, and then in Act 3 we have time for our own personal scenes, which are happening in the chaos. Like Pierre goes back to the restaurant, which is occupied by Germans, and he shoots them. So he maybe saves someone. Bombs go off, and then we have some Act 3 for last scenes and aftermath. But I'm fine anyway.
I'm potentially open to that. I don't feel like I'm 100% sure what happened after I killed the first Nazi in that 2-person patrol.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe it's just because it was breaking up, but did I kill the other one? Did I?
No, I had left that, at a cliffhanger purposefully.
That's what I thought.
Right.
I feel like we should maybe cover that bit. Seems important.
So
even if you just tell me what happened so that I can know what my mental
because this is what I'm
state
going to say. If you frame a scene for you afterwards, then you can say what happened, right? Or we can agree what happened.
Okay.
You just say oh, I finished the other guy off, or his gun jammed and I ran, or whatever it is, right? We can. Is it a central conflict that we want to resolve on screen, or is it just something we can refer to?
We don't need to do it on screen necessarily. I would say it's pretty he's up close with a knife. While a gunshot was going off near my friends and everything else. I feel like it's just an important thing for me to have a really clear picture of how it went down, because of her mental state, of Sophie's mental state going in, being already traumatized.
Yeah. So we can, at the start of your next scene, I can just say what happened and you can give me a thumbs up, or
we can discuss it either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I just want to make sure I know going forward before playing anything.
Okay. That bouncing noise is the noise of my dog wanting to play fetch with me.
So
I feel like he should come visit, but no, maybe not today.
So how do we resolve the thing with the bridge? Like the camera cuts from like Pearl situation with the soldiers, and then the bridge explodes, and that's where we like end the scene.
So I think we in the scene where Sophie is getting into a fight, we can see maybe in the background of that camera angle, we can see Pierre working on the charge, and then we just cut to a black screen, and then we hear the big explosion, and we don't know, did Pierre have to set it off early just to get the mission done, or did he get away, or who knows?
The show is very exciting. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Hello.
So I think during the commercial break to Act 3, we see probably some commercial of a company that builds bridges, that has a slogan of like safe and secure.
Yeah, built to last,
Definitely. And then in the background we see all these awesome bridges, like the one in San Francisco, and there's also another like extremely long bridge somewhere else on the world that I don't remember now. All the like cool long bridges like built to last.
The advertising agency is obviously getting primed with scripts in advance. Okay, so do you want to? I guess the same for Pierre. Pavel, do you want to do that in retrospect, or learn like what happens in the third person, or do you want to see that on screen?
I think for Pierre it's like I think we'll have to like wonder what happened to Pierre immediately following the explosion. We'll leave it to the viewer to decide. I think I'm going to open the act Pierre scene, because from next time on, I remember that I said that Pierre, machine gun, and German soldiers in the restaurant. So I think we cut to the Pierre standing in some alley, observing the restaurant, and as we look on him, his like clothes are in disarray. He kind of is like bleeding from like a couple of cuts, and we can imagine that this is like the aftermath of the explosion. He's like all dusty. He's like hair are like partially burned, and he just like looks over the corner, and we see the zoom in on the restaurant, and I think it's like clear that the Germans are like high alert, and and then we see the patrol of Germans like enter the restaurant, and Pierre just like grabs the stun gun, jumps in the clip, reloads, and oh my god, it's like such a quick action scene. And I think we see Pierre just like puts the stun gun under the like coat, that the remaining of the coat that he has, that are not blown to pieces. And and I think we see he like gets go around the corner, and we probably like see this like officers of the German like still sitting outside the restaurant, because maybe the patrols are just like coming in with the information or something. And and we see he like starts to unleash on the German soldiers with the machine gun, in the like trying to like fight them, like shoot them through the window, the ones that were outside, cut them off. He probably like hides back in the alley, just like throws on the empty clip, jumps in another one. He like runs around the building to just attack them from the other angle. And I think that in the scene he clearly wants to to secure Mari, and I think we will see. Yeah, who knows who knows what will be the aftermath? But yeah.
So is this like Pierre trying to protect her from them? Or are they being jerks, or is he just he just wants to get rid of them and bring her to the safety of a bomb shelter or something like this? What's the?
I think with all the chaos and Germans on high alert, they maybe they are just like checking home. Maybe they are like Germans are just checking every place, but Pierre like isn't like sure what they are doing. So he just wants to like shoot the Germans and then grab Mari and drive off, or maybe go. No, I think that driving off is too dangerous, and he wants to probably like go together to the resistance
To
hideout.
the safe house? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is, I guess this is a plot scene, right? Because he's trying to get something, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And so I mean, I think you've described how he's approaching it enough that we can say, let's draw cards and then see how it goes. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, perfectly. The action scenes can be pretty quick and good with description. So how much do I have? Could be hard. I think I'm using retired combat engineer. Helps a little bit, and then I'm spending both of my fan mail.
Okay. And
How much fan mail do I have left?
I have you as having 4, but I don't know if you gave any during the last scene.
I don't think so, but I don't remember. Either way, I'd like to give 2 right now to defend Marie.
Okay. So I was thinking, oh, wait a minute. Pearl has warned me about killing Marie. I have to be careful of how much budget I'm going to spend here. So I will just spend 3, I think.
So I have 2, 3, 5, 7 cards. Yeah, putting dangerous things on the line over here.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I just...
Donna?
Yeah, sorry. I drew 4 red cards out of my 4 red cards, and I got... No, I didn't get the highest card. I got a King of Hearts, and that is beaten by a King of Clubs.
Ooh. A close,
the alphabet comes to your aid.
A close time.
So there's no but.
Yeah, you don't get what you want, but to keep it together.
So maybe you don't really clear the place, but you keep it together enough to grab Marie and get out? But, like, probably they've seen you at that point. But, like, you can get out.
In order to save Donna's skin, I think I'm willing to say that I'm going to leave it ominous. I think we see Pierre just like shoot the Germans, and then he just like gets in, and he like shouts Mari, and there's like no response, and he just like checks the restaurant, checks the kitchen, checks the bedroom, and there are just like no signs of her, and that's like a very ominous thing, and yeah, and but it's a very expensive shot because we see like Pierre probably like from the boots that just like walking over the body with like smoking barrel of a gun, and then like panically just like checks every room, shouts Mari, just like checks under the room, the cellar, the bedroom, and yeah, and then he like sits on the bed, and maybe he notices that, and that and a little bit ominous, I think he notices that something is like missing as well from the room. So he like hopes maybe she left, maybe they like didn't drag her off. Hard to say. And
So it's something that she might have taken if, say, she was needed for a mission or something like this, or someone came
Yes,
to her who
probably.
need to be hidden. Okay, so she's in some kind of danger, but we don't know what. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to a little bit very.
Just wish to point out two things. One, I know how to get to Poland. And two, you all have been making me into like a mass murderer for this whole game. So just keep that in mind as you frame your ominous Marie scenes.
I wasn't you framing you as a mass murderer. You just like,
No raised eyebrow. That's a dangerous sign.
But obviously, Pierre has just shot down a fair few Germans himself, right? And now he has to run.
Yeah, that's like definitely. So maybe the shot ends with like Pierre just like leaving through the like back entrance, and and he just like leaves with the not with the like his proper coat, not the one that was blown over at the bridge, and he just like leaves through the back entrance and goes through the back alleys, and maybe we'll see him again. Who knows?
Okay, cool. So, Pearl, David, who wants the next scene?
I could take one, I suppose.
Okay.
This is my spotlight episode after all.
Yeah.
So,
no, if you're happy to.
Okay.
I was wondering if you wanted to take the last scene, but I don't have a strong idea for a scene, so go ahead.
Is it the last scene?
Well, this
isn't the last scene, is it?
This is not the last scene, but it will be your last spotlight scene. So,
no, I don't know. I mean, David, if you have an idea,
no, I was going to say I don't.
It.
I'd have come up with something, but if you have an idea, then go for it.
Yeah, I would like to run towards the cafe from wherever I am. Although I would like to know again. We need to cover the whole slasher. Bit.
So, I think maybe. So you stab one guy, and then with the gunshot going up, the other guy has been shouting out an alarm, and he turns towards where Pierre is teetering, and takes a shot at him. And I think that's why Pierre is so beaten up and bruised, is that he is, being shot at and jumping away out of danger. And maybe, caught in some of the rubble from when the bridge goes up. And that gives you the opening to stab this guy in the back, is because he's shooting at Pierre. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was going to say if he's shooting at Pierre, I'm definitely stabbing him.
Yeah.
If I'm behind him, I would probably try to go for his throat too. It's much more effective than the back, I imagine.
Maybe.
Just that's why in horror movies, that's what they do, isn't it?
Depends how cinematic we want to be, right? If you want to be
I mean, I've never stabbed any knife. Yeah. I don't really know how it works, or how big this knife is, or why I'm stabbing anyone in the first.
You stab them in the heart from the behind. It's a bit awkward, but it's the quickest way to do it.
No, I think I would try to grab his head and slash. The neck worked on the other one, and. If Pierre's life is on the line, I think I would act with more adrenaline takes over when you're protecting someone, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think we can do it. I mean, we're a TV show, right?
Yeah.
Cinematic TV. So yeah, okay. So I've killed them both with the knife.
Yep.
psychopath. And so I'm going to head towards the cafe to try to see if Marie's okay. Because after the scene with who was staying at the cafe, I feel like they've both saved my at least reputation with the resistance, if not more than that, and put their lives on the line. And it's I want to pay that back.
So do you want? So I guess like we kind of maybe see a little bit of the destruction in the countryside. Multiple bridges have been blown up by your cell during the night, and the general kind of German reaction is that they are driving away from Calais, right? They are getting a lot of notification that there is a attack elsewhere, and they are trying to redeploy. And so it's a little bit tricky to get through the countryside back to the cafe, but you managed so. And I think when you get to the cafe, maybe it's not too long after Pierre. So there's signs of a gunfight. There's dead Germans and such lying around the place. No sign of Marie, no sign of Pierre.
I think I know where that back entrance is my guess. And I want to race they're trying to escape to, like, if there are any Nazis back there that they could take them unawares. I'm, on one of my sprees.
Okay.
So
do you want to, like, what's the scene about? Is this about you finding Marie, or you getting back to the safe house, or is this about you what I find struggling
when I get there?
Yeah.
I think the hope is that I protect someone. Maybe there are like a few Nazis who haven't left yet, who like heard all the gunfire at the cafe, even through the chaos, and have come to investigate, and someone is in harm's way, and I would like to finally save someone from something.
Okay. Well, do you want to catch up with Marie doing what she's doing? And,
sure.
Yeah. Let's. So, do you want to like set that scene precisely? Like, where do we're not going to find Marie at the safe house. We're going to find her doing something else. So, do you want to, or will
I don't know what she's doing. I'm like an audience member on that part. I'm like very interested.
So let's say that she has been co-opted by Beaufort, the SOE agent, to transmit intelligence about the German redeployment. So she is like doing kind of spy work or such, which would seem quite familiar to you, right? So maybe you wonder what's going on and know exactly where she would need to go to do that kind of thing, right? Using your tradecraft.
How do I know she's doing it, though, to know that where she would go? Do I just figure it out somehow?
Somehow. I don't know. Maybe there's...
Okay, I figured it out somehow.
You figured it out somehow, right? Or maybe you bump into Jean and she knows that Marie has been tasked with something else. Okay. So yeah, I will know exactly where to find
that then, and I will head towards that location as quickly as possible. Because Marie's really a civilian. She shouldn't be I don't think she should be conscripted into this sort of thing. I'm very concerned.
It's true. So do you want her to be in danger, or do you want to be helping her to achieve her mission?
First the first one, then the second one.
Okay.
Ideally.
So, but like, what do we want to be drawing cards on? What do we want to be the main conflict in the scene?
Maybe one of the Germans has gotten enough word to be suspicious, but not enough to like alert the whole patrol, but is like going to check out, like heard that there was maybe a thing.
Okay.
And arrives around the same time I do. A Nazi, I should say, not a German. Not all Germans are Nazis.
So you're shaping up to have to shoot this guy, right?
To get in the way.
Okay, to get in the way. Sorry.
We did there was a
Yes.
4 next time, and I have 1 scene left. Darn it.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. I was going to blame the producer for like having a tantalizing next on scene that never happened. You know, like how dare they do that to us? Okay. Yeah. So I think, you know, maybe.
I'd like to have 1 scene where I'm not killing people.
Okay. So yeah, I think we should draw the cards and see how you get on, and then we can
All right.
narrate that. And so what you're looking for is to save her from this German who's just going to shoot her, right? But in a jumping in front kind of way.
I think, like we sort of arrive on the scene at the same time, and I like see what he's about to do. Like he's going to barge in and surprise her.
Yeah.
But not if I can barge in first. So yeah, I'm still having trouble with internet stuff. So if someone could draw the cards for me and then just tell me what they are, since they never load properly.
Okay. So
there's tradecraft for me, and my 3. Yeah. And this is my big scene. I'll spend whatever fan
mail you have left.
Whatever fan mail I have left, I think.
Yeah, so you have 2 left, so that gives you 6, right? 3 plus 1 plus 2, 6.
Yeah.
Right. And I will spend, maybe I'll spend 4. Okay, I'm going to spend 4. This is obviously a location that we haven't seen before. You know, maybe it's like a somewhere relatively secluded. Maybe everything is up close and hard to see, and that's why we don't see each other until the last moment. Okay, so 6 cards for you, 5 cards for me. Wow, 5 red cards. Although the high card is 10.
For you or for me?
For you. You got 5 red cards out of 6.
Wow, that's a surprise.
Now look at that. I got 5 black cards out of 5. And my highest is a 9. So
I told you couldn't kill Marie.
Okay, so that's yes, you get what you want, and with a cherry on top.
I think it's like the first time that's ever happened where I've gotten both. That's really exciting. It shouldn't be what I want, but it is what I want, because I think Sophie needs to feel some sense of like having put herself in harm's way in a real way. So I do, in fact, want her to jump in front of the Nazi, but because I got good enough cards, I would like to not be fatally injured, I think, by this. I would like to take the bullet intended for Marie, but in a way that does not kill me.
Yeah, that's entirely fair.
And to, I don't think I have a gun anymore, but to enable her to, like, hopefully she can finish what she's doing very quickly. Like maybe she was almost done anyway, and I'll like yell, "Get out!" as I'm making this jump, and hopefully she can escape at the back or something. That would be my goal for the scene.
Okay, how about the kind of German takes aim and shoots, and then you're like, you dive in front and you get hit in the shoulder or something like that. That's definitely a wound that you'll know all about, but isn't immediately fatal. And then, you know, Marie is kind of kneeling down with her one-time code pad or whatever it is. And she has a pistol and she draws it and shoots the guy.
Yeah. Go, Marie.
Action
hero.
Yeah, only in the last act do we figure out all of the stuff she's been up to. Yeah, and shoots the guy and, you know, kind of coolly maybe checks if you're all right and sits you up against the wall, and then completes her coding and like sends off the message.
And right before Sophie faints from some combination of pain and bloodlust, she sees the transmitting, and you see like a little bit of a smile because she's finally managed to do something right without hurting anyone. And then she just sort of just slumps to the floor.
Okay. Great. And David, final scene for Etienne, or for whoever you want to frame it for.
Yeah, no, I think I will go with the scene for Etienne to end things on. So I think what I'm interesting, I think so. Like, this is obviously in the immediate aftermath of the bridge going up, and Etienne sort of making his escape through the forest. So I think what we see is, I think the way it's going to start out is sort of see Etienne and the couple of people he was with, and like a German patrol is sort of coming after them, and he kind of signs for indicates for the other people to basically go that way with the two civilians that were on the bridge, and get them back to town. While he kind of takes a couple of shots at the Germans to sort of lure them after him as he sort of runs deeper into the forest. And I think as sort of this is going on, we see like we kind of hear like that odd sound, and we see like a glider coming down from overhead to sort of crash into to land, into a little bit further on into the forest. And I think he starts running in that direction.
I think with gliders, it's always crashing.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, I think I guess this is kind of tangential plot, or is this about?
I'm thinking actually this is more a character scene. I think I want to see how like it impacts, like if it gives him hope that this thing is almost over, or
Yeah. Does Etienne let's make these guys could be Canadian, right?
Yeah.
But if Etienne speaks English, that would work too. So yeah, I think you find this incredibly broken plywood balsa glider shattered against some trees, and it's kind of almost incomprehensible that people would be walking away from this, but there's 20 heavily armed paratroopers kind of spilling out into the woods, and I guess you managed to convince the couple who challenge you that you're friendly, right?
I just wanted to suggest that maybe it would be interesting to see if they tell Etienne that this is just like a fake operation, and then see how his hopelessness will get him.
Yeah,
whether it will trigger or not, whether he will say,
okay,
it's up to us to get our freedom or not. Just a suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, there certainly can be, they can, tell him what's going on from their point of view, and that will kind of maybe lead him one way or the other. So yeah, I think probably the first thing they are wondering is, where the hell are they?
You're just you're about 7 kilometers southwest of Calais, near the Pont Neuf.
Okay, and I guess the officer, the second lieutenant with a map and a compass, the most dangerous thing in the enemy's arsenal, is there with a map, and it's like folded, in entirely the wrong place, right? So
yeah,
he kind of opens it until he comes to the edge of the map, which is kind of where you be, and it's kind of these maybe dawning realization that he is not where he is supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
And he curses to himself, and I guess kind of realizes that they are nowhere. They can't even get into their area of operations. And it's kind of, there's like a dawning kind of realization, maybe in Etienne, that this guy doesn't at this moment know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
But he kind of folds the map and puts it away and says, well, right, where do you need us and who can we talk to, kind of thing.
And there's like there's a cell in town where we've been carrying on the fight and getting things prepared for the invasion. We've just taken out a bridge up the road. That's where I was getting away from. But I'm sure we can find you shelter.
Well, taking out bridges is good. Anywhere else around that you think we should take care of? Because as far as I'm aware, there's a lot of Germans here that would like to get down to Normandy pretty sharpish. So let's stop them from doing that.
I can show you where the garrison is, certainly.
Well, I'm not sure we want to take out a garrison, but like we can put paid to a few bridges, hold them up for a while, that kind of stuff.
Sure thing. Yeah, I think actually, this is probably a good point to go to the cards and see how, as said, there's that realization that actually that this isn't, if they're out here on their own, then there's probably no more people coming.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm at 2. I'm going to call him the plucky young revolutionary on this, because I think this is about him like leading the fight to the enemy. That's probably the only one of his edges that's going to come in, though. And again, I will spend my remaining fan mail on this.
Okay.
So that takes me up to a total of 5.
Okay. And I will spend 3, I think.
Cool. Oh, that's 2 reds, but with a nice high.
Okay. And that's 3 reds with a 9 high. So that's a no but, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I think that the way this looks is I think that there's just that moment where he's just kind of gobsmacked and it's like, you were never coming here, were you? This is all just they were just using us as a distraction.
And I think the officer is kind of just waving his men by, and he says, well, Calais is the most obvious place for us to land, so we just let the Germans think that and land in a better place, right?
Everything we've done, everything we've been through, did any of it even mean anything?
Yeah, because every time we pay attention to Calais, they are even more convinced that they know that we're going to land here. Every German not on the beaches of Normandy is better for everyone except the Germans.
And I think that there's that moment where he's, just sort of staring gobsmacked at the phone. He says, "Tell you what, I can lead you to the prison. There's people there we can get free."
Okay. And I guess we cut the scene there as you lead off a platoon into a very off-book mission. Okay. I guess we close up there, but I think instead of a next on, do we zoom ahead for a little vignette of the characters a few months later when Calais is liberated? Or maybe afterwards, after that. What do you think?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you want to start, Pearl?
Actually, I think I'd like to go last.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
I've certainly got an idea.
Okay, go first.
So yeah, I think we kind of just see a scene, and this is like in the immediate, like the liberation of Calais, and I think we see kind of, it's one of those sort of big panning shots over the city, as there's like explosions going off, and the sound of like machine gun fire and so on and so forth, we see kind of Etienne scrambling onto a rooftop, and we sort of see, as we sort of come out of this, he's sort of essentially like at the on the town hall building, and we see the scene from the next time on from last time, where he just takes his knife out and cuts down the flag flying from the top of the town hall, and it drops to the ground.
Nice. Pavel, how about Pierre?
I think we cut to. Wait, it would probably be. Yeah, it's probably spring, so it's an indication that it is probably next year. And the city center where the Marie's restaurant is still damaged, but we see this like nice restaurant with flowers and Marie serving customers croissants and coffee, and we see Pierre having sort of like a clinic just next door, so that he can come and spend time with Marie, and and that's like a awesome happy ending where we see both of them, like he comes in, obviously he doesn't have like maybe like someone like patient, so he like helps Marie deliver coffee and croissants, and he like really takes care of them, and we see that Marie really is with child, so it's like a almost most amazing happy ending we could ever get after the war.
Awesome. Pearl.
Well, I have a slightly different ending style than the others. So the screen goes black as though we're going to go to credits, but instead you see like 2 sentences at a time in white text appearing on the screen, an epilogue about Sophie. It says that Marie did in fact get her transmission off and then immediately went to get help for Sophie, and that they came and took her as quickly as they could in the chaos back to the safe house, but the shoulder wound was like very close up, since she jumped right in front of the soldier, so it was like a close range injury, which does a lot of damage, and she'd been sort of slumped against the floor for a while by the time they got to her. So by the time she got to the safe house, it was really too late. She had almost entirely bled out and was dying. But word had gotten back through other intelligence channels that Marie's transmission had gotten through, and the last thing that Sophie Garnier heard before she died was that that transmission going through saved 200 lives. And she feels like you see a look of peacefulness on her face as she feels like she finally can let go of some of the ramifications of what's happened before, because she has tried to even the scales, and she just quietly passes away. Maybe birth dates, like birth date and end date. Sophie Garnier.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess we want to wrap up. Anyone want to add anything before we stop recording? Or we just leave it there? Okay.
I'd like to thank everyone for this whole series. It's been really intense and emotional, and I appreciate everyone's commitment and skill very much.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, it's been great.
Oh, I thought we will do this offline, but it was.
I mean, I'm saving stars and wishes. I just wanted to.
It was awesome.
Say something.
Right. So it was really cool.
Okay. Well, we'll see you next time.